Hey y'all, it's Vonnie with the Get Down Podcast, and we are back with another episode. If you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share this video with anyone and everyone that you know. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you're having a safe day. Wherever you are tuning into the podcast or watching the video, I hope you are having a safe day. More news is coming out, y'all. Now we're back to the NFL stuff. Richard Sherman. So he's making headlines, and he's quote unquote in custody for his suspicion of having DUI or doing DUI. Let me say this before I get into the article. We got Mike Florio talking right here. Whenever players, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, whenever they retire or they hang their jersey up or they're stepping, really back from the spotlight or whatever the case is, usually things and stories about them continue. What I mean is he isn't playing anymore, but he's an announcer. Sometimes he'd be on the show with Skip and Shannon. Sometimes he does his own podcast. Sometimes, so he's still in the spotlight, but not being a former NFL player. Being a current NFL player that is still playing. So stories are still going to circulate, even if somebody steps down or they retire, whatever the case is, because you always have the media following you, and they're looking for more stuff to make the people, and the fans talk about. And this is what it is. Now we're on Richard Sherman. Some of these players, they have to not always be caught up in the limelight, but just try to understand and be aware that paparazzi, the media, whatever the case is, somebody's gonna always be around. Even if you're taking a sip of your Jack or your Henny or your cognac or your Crown, you're taking a sip somewhere at the bar with your lady friends or homeboys, whatever the case is, somebody is going to be probably sitting there recording and trying to get some information. And then once they do it, they're going to share it everywhere to all the media platforms, and it's going to get people talking. That's how it usually works. Not just with Richard, with anybody that people want to bring up. Like I said, it's not really in the limelight like that, or they are and they're not playing that sport at the moment. Either two. And Richard Sherman, he was with the 49ers and he was with the Seahawks, So he has sports career. He has a great family, a wife, 2 kids. And now, everybody's talking about you because of what's going on. Sometimes you can't see the media always around you, and then sometimes you do. But, you still just have to be careful with little things you do, because one little small thing, even if that thing you're doing is small, and the person that's probably recording is going to make it bigger than what it really needs to be, that will happen. So he's been arrested for suspicion of DUI. So he's remaining in custody. Let's read a little bit of the article to just give some backstory of why this is even happening. Richard, he's a great player. He is. He gives analysis. He really takes up for the 49ers, my team. I appreciate that. He gives his opinion about things, not just sport, but other related topic sports when he's talking to people. I think he had Lil Wayne on one of his podcast episodes, so it's different things. But, like I said, since he is quote unquote still in the media, even as just an announcer, somebody do the podcast or whatever the case you want to call it, now it's a story about him. So let's read a little bit in this article and see what is going on with our boy Richard Sherman. Come on, Richie Rich. Can't be doing this, Rich. Okay. Details are emerging regarding Saturday's DUI arrest of former NFL cornerback and current sports media personality Richard Sherman. Via CNN, court documents show that Sherman was going 79 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone at roughly 2 a.m. Saturday in Bellevue, Washington. Per the paperwork, the authorities asked Sherman if he had consumed alcohol. He said he had 2 margaritas. Now, like I said before, even with Patrick Mahomes' dad, you cannot drink and drive. You can't drink and drive because Cops are waiting to pull people over that's drinking and driving, whether your windows are tinted or you're swerving lanes. Those are going to be really the main, and speeding too. Those are going to be the main reasons why they're pulling you over. Margaritas, depending on how strong it was, maybe it was strong. He said he had two. Maybe it was something else poured into the margarita, but we don't know for sure about that. The article at CNN says Sherman agreed to a voluntary test. The type of test isn't specified. Usually, authorities ask the driver to submit a breathalyzer test. Yes, that do usually happen. Technically, Sherman was arrested for suspicion of DUI. The court documents indicate that Sherman's eyes were bloodshot and watery, and that authorities noticed an odor of intoxicants. So the odor's coming off. Your eyes are bloodshot red and they watery. You know, those are signs that'll give the cop, hey, you drinking. You obviously drinking. And then the breath, which is the odor, you're talking, people can smell alcohol on your breath. And people can smell cigarettes and weed on your breath. So if you lie and say you're not doing that, you're telling on yourself because you really are doing that. And to be suspicion, that's not the same thing as he was actually doing it. But they arrested him because you are giving signs that you probably were drinking, which, I mean, come on now. You're a former NFL player. You should know the rules. I understand that. I understand. But, I mean, you should know certain things. Don't be drinking and driving. These cops be ready to pull y'all butts over in a heartbeat. They do. Certain stuff you do not need to do before you get behind the wheel. You don't need to do it before you get behind the wheel. Leave it at home, leave it at your friend's house, wherever, okay? Getting behind the wheel, no. And if you are going to drink and then you get behind the wheel maybe 5 minutes later after leaving a friend's house, whatever the case is, drink some water. That is the best thing. How do I know? Because I haven't done that. But, I mean, when you drink, you do want to water yourself down with water, okay? You do want to try to calm so much of the alcohol liquor you're taking in. Drink some water and try to calm it down. That way you're not swerving or you're not looking suspicious that you could be DUIing. Don't do that. Do not do that. A judge found probable cause to support DUI charges. Sherman is expected to have a court hearing on Monday to address the conditions of his release. Bail won't be set until the conditions of release are set, the King County Prosecuting Attorney Office told CNN. In March 2022, Sherman pleaded guilty to first-degree negligent driving, second-degree criminal trespass, and speeding in a construction zone. Wow. Come on, Rich, you gotta do better than that, sir. Via Fox 13, Sherman received a 90-day suspended sentence with 2 years of monitor supervision. The 2-year period has not expired yet. That could create separate legal issues for Sherman. So, you know, you have to just be aware of what you're doing. Like I said, if you're going to drink, you're going to drive, stay home, sleep it off, do whatever you can. Because cops are always lurking. It ain't just at night, okay? And it ain't just in the wee hours in the morning. They are looking all day, every day, pulling people over for speeding, for reckless driving, you know, DUIing. That's another thing, DUIing, I'm saying. But, I mean, it's just, you know, you're a former NFL cornerback, sir. You got little young boys looking up to you, and even teenage boys that's in high school looking up to you. They want to be the best cornerback that Richard Sherman was. You got to put on a better facade. You got to put a better leadership role on. You do. You got little boys looking at you. Your kids looking at you. I think it's 2 sons that he have. If it's not 1, I think it's 2. But your little kids, I mean, you can't be doing all that. I mean, he'll get out. People will pay for it. They got the money to do all that. That's not the issue. But role models, you have, like I said, you got young boys looking at you, Richard. You got to set a better example for them not to do this. Oh, NFL, I'm sports media personality now, and I'm a drink and drive. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Some stuff you have to cut off. Some stuff, it has to be a no-no for you not to do that. So he is going to be remaining in custody till he comes on the news and he gives his spiel back of why this all happened. But, you know, you got to do better, sir. You got to do better. If you know better, then you have to do better. That's what the old saying goes. That can go for anybody at any age. If you know better, then you do better. I mean, and plus 2 a.m. speeding at that time, the cops are heavy at that time, really looking for people because most people are getting out the club at that time. Between 12 and 2, they looking for people to stop. So, you know, and you obviously, you made yourself be one of those people, which is not good at all. You know, Richard, try to do better, sir. Try not to let this happen again, but we're going to see what is going to happen when he does come out, when he's talking to the media, things like that, see what they're going to do. So spend the time or do the community service, whatever it is that you have to do, but don't do this no more. Let this be a lesson learned. Some things should just be for that one time, and it should be just a lesson learned. You don't need to keep doing it. You don't need to keep doing it at all. So if you guys like this video, give it a fat thumbs up, okay? Share this video too with anyone and everyone that you know, that you're close to, that you chill with. All of you guys. And leave me a comment section in the comment section about Richard Sherman. What y'all think about Richie Rich? What y'all think about Richie Rich? I mean, he should never done all of this. And you can't do this. Like I said, you know, the media is always going to pick up on stuff. The cops, they're ready to arrest quick. So sometimes they have reasons to. Sometimes they don't have reasons to arrest, you know. And this wasn't even a warning. So just give me your feedback. What you think about this story with Richard Sherman. Richard, if you're hearing this and I see you one day, please don't do this anymore. You got young boys looking up to you, okay? All right, and while y'all are at it, hit the notification bell and the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time that I drop content on this channel, okay? And always remember to stay prayed up and blessed, and I will see you guys in the next episode.